Hello everybody, I'm going to be giving you guys an inside look into how I create some of the music for Cameron Sky. This video is geared specifically to synthwave type rhythms and voices. I start by getting set up. This is a Yamaha PSR, came out in the early 90s. A lot of the gear that I use is secondhand, and I'm just running a MIDI cable straight into the back of my audio interface. I've got a broken sustain pedal and super cheap studio headphones. But that's not going to stop me. The DAW I'm using is Reason 12, but feel free to use any DAW of your choice. I'm going to start by creating a synth bass riff, right? I'm going to noodle around for a little bit. And once I think I have a solid foundation, I just build up from there. Throwing on the metronome, you guys can't hear it, I can hear it in my headphones. Super important to play to it right. You need to be able to keep the rhythm, keep the timing. It's going to save you a lot of editing later on. Now I'm just doing pretty straightforward notes, nothing too crazy here, but my best advice is really to try to get the cleanest take you can without quantization. That's just my preference, but if needed, we can always clean up things after the fact. You know, I set my DAW to loop so I can jam out over this bass line with some drums. I am using Superior Drummer. Now, I usually program the drums with the sequencer that's inside of Superior Drummer, but for this demo, I'm just gonna hammer it out on the keyboard. This is a preset kit that I designed, right? It's got a clicky and punchy kick and a fat snare, just a standard hi-hat, you know, a little bit of compression. Just kind of a solid punchy kit, right? And I can always go in and add more kicks or more hi-hat hits later, but you know, right now I'm just trying to get a foundation. Now I want to come in with like a melody, right? Something that's going to tie this rhythm together and give it a personality, right? So I noodle around for a little bit. You know, I'm not doing anything too crazy, too special. When you're going for like an 80s sound, I always found that a keyboard patch that's kind of detuned or has a lot of air in it, or, you know, a little bit of reverb is great. Also, the use of like sus chords, sus2 and sus4 chords also sound really cool and definitely give it that 80s feel. Now that's just a personal preference. Now that I got a solid melody, I want to throw down a nice solid lead over this, okay? I want something that's got a little bit of delay on it, a little bit of reverb, something that just kind of is the voice, you know? It's replacing the human voice, right? It's something that could be sung. I don't want it to be too difficult. I'm past the point now where something, say, sequenced or arpeggiated would be appropriate. This portion needs to soar, in my opinion. Right? And I'm just showing you, you know, a section of a song. We're only doing a few bars here. We're not doing beginning, middle, and end. This is just kind of how I see a portion of the song building up. Now this lead has got a little bit of spice in it, and I'm really digging it. I've got like a little pitch bend going in there. I'm not going to go into the super nerdy details of how I mix this. That's a much longer conversation. But basically, I have a preset like a mastering chain that I, you know, created and tweaked over time that I'm liking, and obviously, you know, my ears are always evolving, and you know, I feel like I get better mixes kind of every time I'm sitting down, but right now I've got something that's kind of my default that I'm liking for this style of music. What I'm trying to demonstrate here exactly is that it doesn't really take a whole lot of musical equipment necessarily to get a solid foundation of a song going. Now this is in no way, shape, or form a finished project, but I'd say this is a great start. You can really build off of something like this. I've just been a huge fan of like the 80s synth sounds, and there's even some like more modern acts that I'm a huge fan of, like Calm Trues. He put out this album Galactic Melt, and it just blew me away with how great it sounded. And so the album that I'm working on right now, Modern Crimes, is kind of like an homage to true synthwave. It's probably my best attempt at it so far. Okay, moving on. Let's get back to this piece and listen to it in its entirety. Guys, there you have it. Thank you for tuning in. And hey, I do a lot of genres. I don't just do synthwave. So you may see me posting like, death metal, or you might see me doing like some of the progressive rock stuff. But yeah, I look forward to diving into some more music with you guys. So thank you very much again.